Hello guys, I hope you are feeling completely well. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Arash and I'm here to teach you French language in English. Let's get started. Let's continue with the book Grammaire en dialogue niveau débutant, as you already know, and now from this video we are going to start the lesson 3. At first, approximately in 2 videos for the grammar part, and after that we are going through the text part. The title is Le présent des verbes en OR. Le présent des verbes en OR. It means the first group of French verbs in present simple. Guys, as you already, if I want to make it clarified for you, according to different sources, different books, and according to other teachers, they will classify the verbs in different parts. But in contrary, I will classify the whole verbs, whatever exists as verb in French language, in only 3 parts. The first group in 3 groups. The first group are the verbs which are ended in er. So the first group of verbs in French language are the ones which are ended in er. For example, it means that when you see the infinitive of the verb, that infinitive ends in er. For example, parler. Parler is one of the verbs in French language, and it is classified in the first group. Why it is classified in the first group? Because it is ended in er. It is ended in or, and all the verbs that are all the verbs which are ended in or are classified in the first group. So whenever you see a verb in French language that is ended in er, in the infinitive I mean, that verb is classified in the first group of French verbs, and you say that it is the first group. The second group are the verbs which are not ended in or. For example, they are ended, according to me, they are ended into different letters. They are not ended in or. For example, faire. For example, faire, it is a French verb that is not ended in or. It is ended in ro. Okay? And for example, another verb, partir. Don't pay attention to the meaning right now. Just know that the first group of verbs are the ones which are ended in or. The second group of the verbs which are the ones that are not ended in or. They are ended in different other different letters. And the third group of the French verbs, according to me, according to my classification, because guys, if you go through the other books, if you all go through according to other teachers, you will be a little bit confused. But as I say, if you learn with this method and with my classification, surely you can be able to you are able to classify all the French verbs without any confusion. So the first group are the ones which are ended in or, like parler. The infinitive is ended, be careful, the infinitive is ended in or. The second group are the ones which are ended in different other letters, and the third one are some verbs that are called les verbes pronominaux. les verbes pronominaux. Les verbes pronominaux, that they have two pronouns that we will discuss them in detail later. Let's now give them away. Now put them away and don't pay attention to this part. And also this part, today we are gonna start speaking about the first group. Okay, so now we are going to start the verb on OR, the first group of the French verb, as I said, in present simple. Sauf means except aller. As you already know, aller, as you already see in here, aller is the infinitive and it means to go. But this, although this verb is ended in or, but it is classified in the second group of verbs. So this is an exception. This is an exception. It is already ended in or, but it is not classified in the first group. It is an exception that we will see it in chapter 5. Okay, trouver. Trouver, it's an infinitive, and as you already know, the verb is ended in or. Okay, before going to the book, I want to explain something for you, the conjugation or conjugaison of these kinds of verbs. Guys, suppose that you have a verb, the infinitive, and this infinitive is classified in the first group because it is ended in or, like parler. And now you are going to memorize and you are going to learn how to conjugate this first group verb. Okay, at first I will write for you the subject pronoun je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, and elle. After that, what will we do? We can separate the end part. We can separate. It is called la terminaison. It means that the end part, that or. You must separate or from the infinitive, and whatever exists, whatever is left is called le radical. This is called le radical. This is called la terminaison. So this radical, this is our root. Okay, radical means root. This is our root and this is our end part. Okay, and we what happened, we separated this or, this end part from the infinitive. Now what will we do? We write this root for all of them. Parle. This is like that. I will copy them. And okay, so I wrote the subject pronouns. After that, I separated or part from the infinitive, and I wrote for all of them the which part? The root part. Now we must add some other endings. For je, we must add e. I will make them in red. For tu, we will write os. For il, elle, on, we will add e. For nous, we will add ons. For vous, we will add OZ, and for il and elle we will add ONT. Now the conjugation is ready, but how we pronounce them? Je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle, on parle. Or if you pay attention, you will see that all of them are pronounced the same. Parle, parle, parle. Je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle, on parle. Nous parlons, vous parlez, il parle, elle parle. This is the conjugation of the verb, a verb in the first group. So whenever you have a verb that the infinitive is in the first group, it is ended in or. At first you must separate or part, and after that you will get the root. You will write the root for all of the subject pronouns, and you will add these endings: o, os, o, ons, oz, and ont in order. And after that you will get the conjugation of these verbs. For example, we will see trouver. Trouver means to find. Parler means to speak. Trouver means to find. So this is the infinitive, and we have or at the end of this infinitive. So this is the first group. And we have form affirmative at first, the positive form. Form affirmative means the positive form. So they are the subject pronouns: je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. And after that, what will happen? At first we will separate or, so we have trouve. We will write trouve for all of them, and we will add the endings o, os, o, ons, oz, and ont. And now the pronunciation: je trouve, I find; tu trouves, you find; il, elle, on trouve; nous trouvons, vous trouvez, il trouve, elle trouve; they find. Okay, you know that there is conjugation in French language, in contrary to English language. So this is the positive form, and when you want to make them negative, as I told you before, you must put no before the conjugation of the verb and pas after the conjugation of the verb. So form negative is pronounced like that: je ne trouve pas, I don't find; tu ne trouves pas, you don't find; il ne trouve pas, elle ne trouve pas; on ne trouve pas, nous ne trouvons pas, we don't find; vous ne trouvez pas, you don't find; and il ne trouve pas, elle ne trouve pas, they don't find. You can now, guys, you learned what will happen. You can do the same for these verbs, aimer and habiter. I will do one of them for you. Aimer, for example, this is our infinitive. And you know that this is ended in or, so this is the first group. So at first I will separate the or part. This is our root. I will write the root for all the subject pronouns: il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle. And now add the endings. Can you remember the endings? O for je, os for tu, o for il, elle, on, ons here, oz for vous, and ont here for the last one. Now we have the conjugation of this verb aimer. Aimer means to love. So je aime. But guys, there is a complex here. What is the complex? As you already know, two vowels are meeting each other. That so we must delete the first one and put apostrophe here. I told you this matter before in the previous videos, because two vowel letters meeting each other here, we must delete the first one and put the apostrophe here instead. J'aime, j'aime, I love, j'aime, tu aimes, il aime, elle aime, on aime, nous aimons, vous aimez, ils aiment, elles aiment. Perhaps you, there's a question for you. Perhaps you say, you will ask yourself that, or perhaps you wonder that why this is a vowel letter, this is also a vowel letter, but we don't do the same as we did here. This is the rule, guys. This is French language, so we only do it for the first one. For je aime, instead of je aime, we must pronounce j'aime. We must do j'aime. J'aime, tu aimes, il aime, elle aime, on aime, nous aimons, vous aimez, ils aiment, elles aiment. And be careful that liaison here, here, and here are compulsory, because the liaison part is between the subject pronouns and the conjugation of the verb. J'aime, tu aimes, il aime, elle aime, on aime, nous aimons, vous aimez, ils aiment, elles aiment. And for habiter, you can do it. J'habite, tu habites, il habite, elle habite, on habite, nous habitons, vous habitez, ils habitent, elles habitent. Je n'aime pas, tu n'habites pas. They are the negative part. Here in this chapter, in this code we have pas de différence de prononciation pour les formes. There is no difference between the pronunciation of the forms trouve, je ou il, trouve, tu, and trouve, il. This is the same that I told you. There is no difference between the pronunciation je trouve, tu trouves, il trouve, elle trouve, on trouve, and the last one, il trouve, elle trouve. So all of them are pronounced like the same. Trouve. Pas de différence de prononciation pour les formes trouver and trouver, and there is no difference between the pronunciation of the forms trouver, that is the infinitive, and trouver for the form vous. So you must pronounce vous trouvez, and also the infinitive is pronounced like that, trouver. So they are the same. And whenever we have some vowels like a, e, I, o, u, y, and h, at that time, as I told you now, because of meeting two vowels, we must delete the first one, and we must put apostrophe instead, like what I said for you in j'aime and j'habite. And for no also the same. We don't say je n'aime pas. We say je n'aime pas, je n'habite pas, etc. Remarque, la plupart des verbes français sont du premier groupe. The majority, la plupart des verbes français, the majority of the French verbs are from the first group, premier groupe, first group. Les nouveaux verbes, so this is a good news, guys. The majority of the verbs from the first group, because they are regular, there are some explanation, they have some rules, and you can learn the rules, and after that it is really easy for you to conjugate all the verbs that are in this classification. Le nouveau verbe, it means that whatever verbs that are new in French language, like faxer, to fax, sont en général du premier groupe. Generally, en général means generally they are in this classification, that is the first group. Autre négation possible, guys, I will tell you about the negative verbs in detail in another chapter. We will see them later, but here in this part we have autre négation possible, the other negative verbs that are possible in French language. As you already know, for the usual form, we will put no before the conjugation of the verb and pas after the conjugation of the verb. But here is said there is another kind of the negation, that we put no before the verb conjugué, before the conjugation of the verb, and plus after it. Instead of pas, we will add plus, and it is called c'est fini. C'est fini. For example, you say, if you, for example, I will give you an example here. Here is better. For example, I say je fume. Je fume. I smoke. Je ne fume pas. Je ne fume pas. I don't smoke. But if you say je ne fume plus, it means that before I smoked, but now I don't smoke anymore. So je ne fume pas means that I don't smoke anymore. Before I smoked, I used to smoke, but now I don't smoke anymore. Je ne fume pas. I don't smoke anymore. It is called c'est fini. It means that it is finished. The action is finished and it is not doing anymore. Elle n'habite plus à Bordeaux. Elle n'habite plus à Bordeaux means that she doesn't live in Bordeaux. So it means that before she lived in Bordeaux, but now she doesn't live in Bordeaux anymore. Maintenant, elle habite à Grenoble. Now, maintenant means now, she lives in the other part, in another city that is called Grenoble. This is another city of the France. Valeur du présent. This is the last part of this video. Valeur du présent. The value of present simple. On utilise. It is a verb from the guys. We have utiliser. This is the utiliser. Utiliser is the infinitive. So if you see, you will understand that this is the first group. Exactly, this is the first group verb because it is ended in er, and now you can conjugate it for yourself. J'utilise, tu utilises, il utilise, elle utilise, on utilise, nous utilisons, vous utilisez, ils utilisent, and elles utilisent. Guys, now from this video, from right now, whenever you see a verb that is ended in or, the infinitive I mean, and it is the first group, you must start conjugation. You must start conjugating it to keep them in your mind. But after 10 or 20, for example, 20 practice, you will be dominant on this kind of conjugation because you know the rules. On utilise, we use le présent, the present simple, for exprimer une action régulière. Exprimer means explain. Express. Exprimer means express. For expressing an action that is regular. So whenever you want to express an action that is regular, you must use the present simple. It is exactly like in English language. Je travaille ici. For example, je travaille ici. There is another verb which is called travailler. This is the infinitive, and it is also travailler means, guys, utiliser means to use, travailler means to work. This is the first group verb also. Je travaille ici, I work here. Tous les jours means every day. Ou momentané, about the moments. Je travaille ici, I work here maintenant. Now, particularly. I don't think there is anything that I must explain for you here. In the next video, I will talk about how we can make a question in French language. Have a good time. Bye.